Hey guys, my name is Sam. Welcome to PrepMedic. This is video 3 of 3 going through my TEMS pack, and today we're going through the Sustainment bag. So like I just said, I've got 2 other videos detailing this entire setup. One is what I'm carrying in my medic pack itself, and then the other one is a review of that pack. Now today we're going through the Sustainment portion of this, some of the stuff I have in the lid, and then of course the frame. This entire setup right here is from Eberly stock. I bought everything you see here except the medic portion of it, and then I do have a code, but this isn't really a review, so nothing's biased. This is what I'm using in the real world. So I feel like there's a little bit of an explanation needed for people that might not be aware of how our team operates if you haven't watched every single video leading up to this point. But our TEMS team is very diverse in mission set. So first and foremost, we're SWAT paramedics. We attach to 2 SWAT teams, and we're expected to be able to care for their operators. So we need a pack that has a slimmed down medical component, and that's what I'm using this pack right here. But we also attach medics to a pretty busy SAR team, as well as dive rescue, and then we go out on high angle rescues, even if it's not a SAR call out. So in those cases, we need to have sustainment items. And I've never liked mixing medical items and sustainment items in the same bag, because when I do need the medical items, I need them fast. And I don't like digging through extra changes of underwear to get to a BVM or something like that. So I like to keep them relatively separate. But kind of the mission set of our team has posed a logistical challenge for almost all of us, just in, hey, what do you carry? How do you carry it? Is it too much? Is it not enough? This bag I've put together out of a lot of experience, out of going out there to the mountains and not having something I need right away, and then I come back and I kind of adjust this. In the future, I'm going to get the version that has some wings. I'm going to throw some wings on this and then maybe try to slim this back. That being said, this pack right here is not that bad. I was able to put 50 pounds in it, do our arduous pack test, which is 3 miles. You have to do it in under 45 minutes. You can't go to a running gait. I was able to finish it in like 31:30 this year, and did that no problem with this pack. The harness is comfortable. This whole setup is kind of their EMOD frame system, which means that this frame is separate from the medical pack, is separate from the assault pack, and I can zip that assault pack directly to the frame if I didn't want to have the medical pack directly in between. And then I have the lid right here. I had a gear storage portion that could come up underneath it, but I found I didn't really need it for what we were carrying. So, on the outside, what you see is what you get. Like I said, today we're going through this pack in particular, the Sustainment portion, which is their assault bag, whatever. So, all in all, I like this thing, but this isn't a gear review here. I'm not trying to sell you on this pack. I'm just showing you what I'm using. On the top, I have some webbing and then a carabiner. There's no specific use for this, but man, like lashing things to this kit, like even like just putting on a water bottle, there's an Nalgene in here. I can throw it on the outside if I have to. Tying up somebody's gear, hiking something out. I've just found this to be something useful that adds almost no weight to the pack itself. In the top lid, something I can get to really fast and easily is just a shell. This is a, what is this? REI shell. And what I found with SAR in the Rocky Mountains in particular, I'm from the Midwest originally. I didn't grow up in these mountains. I found that you need cold weather gear no matter what time of year it is, no matter how hot it is. You need layers to put on at a moment's notice, because it gets cold at night, especially when you're going up to elevations of 11, 12,000 feet, which we do have in our territory. I've spent the night out there on SAR missions. It's not a ton of fun when you're cold. So in the top lid underneath, you can go a long time without food, but you're not going to be happy, and endurance flags pretty quickly. So I've got a protein bar here for just a little bit of sustainment, and then these are literally candy. These are energy bars right here. I use these for running when I'm doing, longer distances, when I'm getting up to that, 10 to 30 mile range for an ultramarathon, I'm going to be using these every 20 minutes or so. I'll eat one of them. So one of these has a little bit of caffeine to give me a boost. If we're going, there are some beasts on our SAR team that can hike super fast. So, just a good thing to have to keep up. And then they're going to double as a glucose supplement. If you've got a diabetic or something like that, somebody's hypoglycemic, you can give them one of those and that'll boost them right up. Got a lot of simple carbs, which your stomach can digest very easily in endurance situations. Now in this lid under here, I keep it under this lid just so it doesn't get wet if it starts to rain. I'm gonna get a rain fly for this eventually. I've got a headlight. I've had this one forever. This is an old Princeton TAC headlight. Its batteries last forever. It's not the best headlamp ever, but it's something that I can keep in here and not miss for like my normal stuff I'm doing. And then in this, it's kind of just a random hodgepodge of stuff. I've got Sawyer water filter. Haven't used it on a SAR call. I usually just fine on water, but something to have just in case. Not going to do you much good this year because we're in such a severe drought. Write and Rain notepad in a protective case. Some duct tape because that's useful no matter what. Got some camping towelettes. You just get them a little wet, they expand. All sorts of uses. And then here we've got just some sunscreen you can throw in. It's like a stick balm if you forgot them. All important things to have. I will say that it's pretty rare we're gonna be spending the night out there. I've done it a handful of times since I've been in Colorado the last like 8 years or so. Probably 4 or 5 times I've been out at night in the Rocky Mountains looking for somebody. When you do it though, you really want to be prepared. I have some chem lights in here, just good for marking a section or a trail or a turnoff. I found a lot of different uses, and then you can also tie a string to them. And I think they call it a buzzsaw. You can whip it around your head if we're calling in the National Guard for a hoist rescue or we're flagging in a different medical helicopter, we can use that. The other thing I'll say about our team, as I'm crumpling this around, audio probably sounds great, is that it's pretty rare that we're going to be hiking a really far distance. I've gone a couple miles on SAR, probably 4 or 5 is the most I've ever done. Out here, most of the time though, if they're way back in the backcountry, we're going to be getting on an ATV. We've got a snowcat that we'll use, or we'll hop on a helicopter and get inserted close to the injured party. So a lot of times we're kind of, hurry up, get to the patient, and what takes a lot of time is getting the resource to extricate them from the wilderness. So on the side here, you'll see an IFAK. And I have this here because I don't have like the basic bleeding control items in the medic pack, simply because in the TEMS scenario, in the tactical medic scenario, when we're with the SWAT team, I have all of that bleeding control stuff on my persons or on my belt. So I don't have redundancies in the pack itself. It's still something important to have while you're hiking. If somebody gets injured, we've got Sawyers or somebody like that. We're supporting wildfire operations. That's another thing we do, is we'll go deploy to wildfires. I like to have bleeding control items here. So this is one of Everly Stock's small IFAKs, I believe, clipped to the outside. And I don't have anything special in here. This is a very basic setup where we've got the NPA, chest seals, ARS needle, packing gauze, cat tourniquet. We've got a Mylar blanket in there, etc. And the Mylar blanket is kind of redundant because I have a large warming kit in the medical kit itself. That's just kind of an extra, add-on for one additional item. I'd be lying if I said I had never taken one of those Mylar blankets out and worn that on a SAR mission just to keep a little bit warmer. So this is all attached to the outside of this pack by these clips on the side. It just lifts off just like that, leaving me with this guy here, and I can zip this off the frame, and like I said, I could zip the assault pack right onto it if I had to. Let's get into the actual pack itself. This guy is pretty light. Like I said, I like to keep the medic pack close to my back because that is the heavier load, so it just carries better. And then this one can be a little bit farther out because this has just a lot of layers and sustainment items in it. I'm gonna take this off really quick. All right, so starting with the external pocket, this is just a little pocket at the top. Carrying a thermarest pad. This is a very, very lightweight pad that can lift me or a patient off the ground and eliminate some of that heat conduction to the ground. So this is something I can blow up. It's not the most sturdy, but this also isn't the most important piece of gear I have. And then I also have a sole bivy. I'm looking at upgrading this to something maybe a little bit more warm or something a little bit larger that I could, actually spike out with instead of just something that's a survival measure. But in some of these scenarios, the sole bivy is just kind of a nice external layer for the patient, especially if it's raining heavily. It'll keep them at least a little drier. Coming into the pack here. All right, so opening this pocket at the top, we have a compass and a signaling mirror. If you can't guide a helicopter in with the buzzsaw because it's not nighttime, you can use a mirror. It's actually really effective at signaling, but obviously only works in the daytime. So I like to have multiple different signaling devices. This mirror is the easiest because it has that little target on the inside you can look through. Just makes it that much easier. I'm not a great navigator, but a compass is always something great to have. A lot of times if we're doing a search in a wide area, we'll all get a map from command beforehand. Our territory is so large that I don't really collect a huge amount of maps and put them in here. I've got them loaded on my phone and then my watch if need be. In here is just a blister kit from my medic. I like these little kits, and this just has some of that super skin, some balm if you're getting really bad, and that's great for me and it's great for other people because somebody's always going to be getting a blister. There's always, maybe a new SAR team member that got new boots and hasn't broken them in that's now hiking a ways. This is that orange flagging I was talking about. I can throw this on the outside of the pack because there's really no reason for us to be camouflaged. I have this because a lot of the packs and kits that are appropriate for the role that I do are for the military. So a lot of them come in multicam, and it's not the most ideal, but it's what we got. I know they do have a green version of this out now. I'd probably get that if I was doing this again. I've got one pair of gaiters here just for when you're hiking through a lot of snow. I don't wear really high ankle boots, but you can throw this on, and even if you're in brush or doing little river crossings, this will just keep your legs a little bit more comfortable and protected. In here, this is kind of an interesting one. This one came from Rescue Essentials. And this is OTC medications here. It's an OTC medication book. I've got a little bit more I need to fill up with it, but you've got your Tylenol, ibuprofen, aspirin, your Difen, Diamode, diphenhydramine in there. I'm going to throw an EpiPen and an inhaler in here most likely. Just the over-the-counter things that are going to make people's lives just a little bit better for that. And I like this format because it can kind of sit, it's easily accessible, and then it's obvious what it is. So I've got that in there. I'm carrying an extra bag of saline just because when we're in the SWAT environment, we're not doing a lot of crystalloid replacements. A lot of times we're giving blood if somebody's bleeding substantially. In the backcountry, though, it's not uncommon to get to people and have them be severely hypovolemic from dehydration. And that can be, the backpacker, the through hiker that was back there that got giardia that's just coming out of both ends. It's the person that's been out there for days and days and hasn't had water. So I find it's good to have a second liter. I've got a 500 ml in that bag, so you can give just a little bit more fluid replacement. If we have information that somebody is severely dehydrated when we're going out there, we can throw more bags of saline, Gatorade, other items in these packs to make sure that we're prepared for them when we get out to them. Right here, make sure there's nothing else down there. This is a puffy. This is from Cry Precision, so it's pretty nice puffy, honestly. And I can throw this and layer it with the rain jacket that was on the outside of the coat just to add that extra insulation layer. You know, I find that's adequate for a lot of like relatively cold nights. In the summer, it's not like if it's like sub-zero, that in the shell isn't going to be enough, and I've got a little bit more right here. So this is just a Thule organizer. I like having this all together because if I know I'm not going to need this, I can pull this out of the kit, save some space and weight. And in here, I just have underlayers and things that are warm. Periodically, we're deployed from a street ambulance, so we carry this on the ambulance every day. And in that case, I've got my normal 911 uniform, which obviously is not appropriate for the backcountry. If I'm leaving from home or I'm on an on-call shift, I can throw this stuff in on beforehand. So in here, I've just got like, I don't know what you call it, a waffle long shirt, use it as undergarments. And then I've got some merino wool Vertex leggings, and they're like merino wool lightweight hoodie for an underlayer. And then I've got a hat right here. I'll usually throw in some gloves in this kit as well, just to make sure I have them. I don't have them in at the moment. So all of that, like I said, is gonna rest in here, and I like just to be able to take this out of the pack if I know this isn't going to be needed for the call, just to save that additional weight. A couple things I usually have in here that are not at the moment. They're in the dishwasher because I got this out this morning. I was like, oh, that's gross. I need to wash that out. I usually have a 2-liter Nalgene in here that I can fill with water. I don't like to use hydration bladders for SAR just because in the winter in particular, that tube will freeze up and your water is inaccessible. And with the Nalgene, I can, pour a small portable cup to the patient or somebody else. All in all, if you've been following this channel for any amount of time, you know that this setup changes regularly because I'll go on a call and I'll realize I don't have something or I want something or I had way too much, and I'm constantly changing it and evolving that. This is no different. Like I said at the beginning, I'm going to be like changing this pack out probably for wings on the side. Not that there's anything wrong with this, but it's just a little bit too wide when I'm hiking, and I'd like something that takes the load out to the side. Now, if I'm going to do a multi-day like mission, which is exceedingly rare for us when we're going out and we're like, hey, this is going to be 2-3 days. There's been a couple like body extractions from really high peaks that have taken that long, but it's relatively rare. If I was going to do that, I could throw the wings on, have this on for like camping supplies and the medical supplies at the same time. It's going to be a heavy load, but sometimes that's necessary. If you have any suggestions or comments, questions, snide remarks, leave them in the comments down below, and I'll see you next week.